Hi all, Sid here again. Happy Wednesday. Happy early Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah. I'm going to talk tonight a little bit about some baseball. Something that happened a long time ago, back in 1974, when they had a 10-cent beer night in Cleveland. The Cleveland Indians versus the Texas Rangers game. It was on Tuesday, June 4th, 1974. And it was at the Cleveland Municipal Stadium. And just as a little side note, the Cleveland Stadium was at the time the largest stadium in the country as far as seat capacity. It had over 75,000 seat capacity. And also, at the time, well, about 6 years prior to this, the Cuyahoga River that ran through town was so polluted that it actually caught on fire. That was kind of before my time when that happened. But that was actually the reason that the EPA was created, which is, it's not funny, and it's a very unfortunate thing that happened in Cleveland, but also the fact that a river of water catches on fire is not something you see every day, nor do I hope to ever see it. And the city also, during that time in the 70s, had some financial issues. They also had some notable anti-war and anti-Vietnam sentiment. Crime had become more of an issue, and about a 10-year time frame, the murder rate had risen drastically. Early 60s, it might have been, in this 60 range, and it increased up to, I think it's like in the 300 range in the course of about 10 years. People were leaving the area, leaving the state, and the Indians, unfortunately, weren't very good also on top of everything that was going on. The event that happened was their 10-cent beer night, and this was something that had happened previously. It happened afterwards. It wasn't the first time that Cleveland had a reduced rate beer night like this, but this was the first time that anything like this had happened. That happened this evening. The day that this happened, on June 4th, only about now, like I said, the Indians weren't very good. The amount of people they tended to draw to their games wasn't very much. The previous month, a home game had only sold about 4,000 tickets. On this game day, on June 4th, the day they were having the 10-cent beers, they sold just over 25,000 tickets for that game. But still, even so, this, like I said, this stadium was the largest stadium at the time, and had a capacity of over 74,000. But still, 25,000 for them at this point in time was still a very good draw, whether it was for the 10-cent beer or not. Their promotion, how it worked with the beer was, it was served in 12-ounce cups, and it was Stroh's 3.2 beer, 3.2% alcohol, and they were 10 cents each for the beers, and there was a limit of 6 beers per purchase. So you could go up and you could only buy 6 beers at once. You could go back as many times as you wanted to buy beer. There was not a limit otherwise. At the time, the average cost of a 16-ounce beer in 1973 would have been about 94 cents. So this was still a very good deal. And like I said, too, also, this wasn't the first time this sort of promotion had happened. It had happened in Cleveland just a few years before, in 1971, where they had a 5-cent beer night. And there was a quote that Tim Russert that was on Meet the Press had said. He was about 24 at the time, and it was at the game, and had said he went to the game with $2 in his pocket. You do the math. So I'm sure that was probably the pretty much overall sentiment for a lot of people. You didn't have to have a lot of money on you to have had a pretty enjoyable evening if you were a beer drinker. Now, there were some other things that were going on that may not have contributed to what eventually ensued. There was a full moon. I know some people are staunch believers in full moon affecting how things happen. Other people, not so much. People showed up with pockets full of firecrackers, which were actually set off at the game. There had been a bench clearing brawl at the previous series in Texas between the Indians and the Rangers just a few days before this, where the bench clearing brawl, and also the fans had reacted badly to this as well. Did that have anything to do with it? Were people in Cleveland upset about it? Who knows? I guess maybe not. Things started to take a turn, and about the second inning, a woman from the stands went on the infield to the Indians' on-deck circle and tried to kiss the umpire. So that wasn't that bad of a deal, I guess. It could have been worse. Demand for beer got to the point they quit worrying about IDs, and they even quit worrying about what they put the beer in. You could come up with a huge pitcher of your own. You could have a big cup of your own, and they would just put the beer in there. They wouldn't even put it in the 12-ounce cups that they had. In the fourth inning, a man ran naked onto the field and slid into second. Anybody that's ever played baseball or softball and slid into a base, I've done that before, and I skinned the heck out of my leg. I don't know that. I would have had to have been drinking. Just get into second base naked at a baseball game, I think. Just because I've done it sober and with clothes on, and it does not feel good. In the fifth inning, a man and his son ran onto the field and mooned the crowd. So far, nothing, the things that are happening aren't, the worst things that can happen, I guess, but still, And then, also, another streaker ran across the field carrying his clothes. At least he had the foresight to take his clothes with him. He's completely naked with the exception of one sock that he was wearing. He got to the fence, climbed over the fence, to which the cops were already there waiting for him and apprehended him once he climbed over the fence. In the sixth inning, the game was stopped because fans were throwing the firecrackers, the aforementioned firecrackers, were throwing them into the bullpen. They stopped the game for that. By the ninth inning, Cleveland had tied the game 5-5. A fan jumped the fence, runs up to outfielder Jeff Burroughs and grabbed his hat, and then claims that Burroughs kicked him. Now, Billy Martin, who was the coach of the coach of the Rangers, thought Burroughs had been knocked down from where he was sitting. He could only see like legs, and so he thought that Burroughs was knocked down. And then the fans start coming onto the field, and all he knows is, okay, he thinks that Burroughs is on the ground. He sees these people coming on the field, so he tells the other players, he orders them to the field, everybody with bats, to go basically, help Burroughs, thinking that he's fixing to be overrun by all these people coming on the field. Then the Cleveland Indians clear their bench, and they go onto the field. Well, now you've got the delay of both teams on the field, these fans coming on the field. So finally, both teams get off the field and go to their respective benches. Go to the respective locker rooms. So they're off the field. They're out of the way. So now the game ultimately at this point it has just gotten to the point they can't continue. So it was ultimately forfeited by the Indians and went down as a 9-0 loss for the Indians. And after the game was called and you got all these people running amok, fans stole or broke a whole bunch of things in the stadium. People stole the bases off the field. That's how bad it was. There was no serious injuries despite everything that was going on. There were 7 arrests. In the end, it was mainly just a hammered and rowdy crowd that caused the bulk of the issues. Surprise, surprise. There was a push to ban beer sales, at games, but even like I said before, even with these sold beer at games, that was not out of the ordinary. There had even been these promotions before and after that involved cheap beer. This was the only time that this had actually happened this way, where people just ran amok and went crazy. Even at least the Cleveland did have an instance where they did one of these after the fact, but this time they were smarter about it, that they actually put a total limit on it. So you could only have 4 beers total, and that was it. So at least they probably should have done that to begin with, but given the history and how things tended to go previously, it's not. I guess they probably figured that everything had gone well to that point, and that it was not necessarily something they needed to do. Okay, so that is the story of the 10-cent beer night in Cleveland, Ohio. I will have some pictures that I'll throw in there through the video of different things happening and all that kind of stuff. I might see what else I can dig up. I might have a stretch of video or something in there too. But everybody, thank you for coming and listening to me talk today. I just really appreciate it. Anybody that can throw me a like, the trifecta of YouTube, and the like, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course hit that bell icon so you'll know when more videos come up. I'm going to try to have the videos posted, if it isn't Wednesdays, maybe on Fridays. I'm still trying to kind of sort that out right now. I'm still kind of learning and kind of get my bearings straight on this. I've got a new film or video editor that I was a fellow YouTuber, Dogman Homestead, was nice enough to give me some guidance with, and he actually posted a video on how to use it and everything. So bear with me. I'm trying to learn how to edit with this new video editor. So things may look a little bit different than the other ones that I had made before, but as with everything, it is a work in progress. And I sincerely appreciate all of y'all that have stayed to the end of the video to listen, and please keep coming back. I love and appreciate you. And once again, everybody have a Merry Christmas and a great New Year, and be safe out there. Thanks, and bye.